What's good, everyone, and welcome to our Philadelphia Union World Cup Draw Ceremony live stream show. Union broadcasters here, club legend Sebastien Le Toux. I'm Dave Leno, also joined by Tom, Mike, the crew, Greg Phelan, also behind the scenes making this all possible. You can interact with us live during the show on various Philadelphia Union social platforms. We encourage you to do so. Tom's got a mic later on in the show. We'll maybe answer a couple of your questions, so please interact with us all show long. Seba, the draw ceremony at last is over. How do you feel?
I'm exhausted. It was the longest draw I've ever been to. God, but no, it's good. It's exciting to now see every group being formed and knowing the opponent, especially of the US and France, because that's where I'm from.
I know. All right, let's get right to it, everybody, and let's go through first groups A through D. We're going to run through a ton of the storylines, go through all of the teams. So in Group A, you have Mexico. Since beating the U.S. in 2025 in the Gold Cup final, now they haven't won a single game, so there's a lot of questions for Mexico. The next team in that group is South Africa, qualified for their first World Cup since 2010. Could Union defender Oweto Makanya be on that squad? Of course, Bradley Carnell did play on that South Africa World Cup team in 2002. You also have Korea Republic, or South Korea, who blitzed through qualifying unbeaten. And playoff D, Denmark, North Macedonia will take on the winner of that one against Czechia and Republic of Ireland. Ireland last made the World Cup in 2002. Seb and I are about to break all these down, but I'll go through quickly. In Group B, Canada, led by Jesse Marsh, 10 games into his tenure there, with the Canadian men unbeaten the last three. Also, you got the winner of Playoff A that will feature Italy, Northern Ireland, or Wales, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Former Union player Harris Medunian did play for Bosnia and Herzegovina back in 2014. Qatar also there with their defensive struggles. And Switzerland, seventh amongst UEFA in qualifying and recoveries per 90. The Swiss do a great job controlling the midfield. In Group C, you have Brazil, who, quite frankly, I'm really surprised, coming off their worst at CONMEBOL qualifying in modern history. We'll see how they fare. Morocco, we know how the Morocco youth national teams have been doing. Haiti in their first World Cup since 1974. Danley, a Union midfielder, hopefully will be part of that squad. More on him in a little bit. And Scotland as well. In Group D, will feature the United States, unbeaten the last five, coming off that thrilling 5-1 win over Uruguay. The first matchup will be against Paraguay, and that matchup actually was here in November in Chester at Subaru Park, so we'll get into that in a little bit. Australia with their defensive prowess as well in that group, and also with Playoff C, Turkey, Romania against Slovakia and Kosovo to round off Group D. Seb, I want to take the big picture view here as it just went through Groups A through Group D. Let's start with the Mexico group. I mentioned a lot of problems with Mexico. What do you make of Group A?
It's a tough one. First, having all the South Korea team, which is a very good team, South Africa as well, has been pretty good, and now you have the playoff where like you said, Denmark, Macedonia, Ireland, and Czech Republic. So all my European friends are going to be very happy to maybe have to travel, to Mexico if one of this country works, especially all the Irish friends I have in Philadelphia. But it's a tough group, I have to say. Like if you look about the three host country, Mexico, Canada, and the US got the best group out of the three. I think the Mexico group and Canada are pretty tough, and it's not going to be easy for Mexico and Canada to go through this group. So Mexico group, tough one, and like you said, they are not at their best right now, so hopefully for Mexico, they're going to try to get better before the World Cup starts.
Yeah, I was reading a ton of storylines about Mexico, and I know there's some conversation and concern about their number nines being prolific. I'm curious how El Tri will prevail and maybe go deeper in this tournament. As you mentioned, of course, LAFC player Sun Heung-min is on South Korea. I mentioned they were terrific in qualifying, so we'll see how they fare. And then how about the storyline also, part of this Group A? If Ireland would come out of that playoff D, that UEFA playoff where four teams advance, a little bit on the playoffs in just a moment, what would that mean to Ireland, and how might that factor into Mexico and some of those other teams?
I mean, we might have maybe the entire country of Ireland moving to Mexico for the World Cup, because it's been a long time they didn't qualify for a World Cup. They are waiting for it. I have so many friends who, can wait for the playoff in March. It's going to be tough. They have to beat first Czech Republic and then the winner of Denmark, Macedonia. So it's still a long way for them, but they have a chance. And it's going to be fun to see this Group A, because I don't know who's going to get out of this one.
Yeah, in Group B, I'm focused on that double pivot for Switzerland of Zaka and Fruller. How they will fare and tussle with Canada. I mentioned how well Canada has done it with Jesse Marsh. I think a lot of Union fans watching our stream will know there's a lot of MLS guys, some former MLS players on the Canadian national team. One of them, a former MLS guy that we both know, prolific player that gets up the flank, is Alphonso Davies as well. Jonathan David's another player that comes to mind. Osorio, who plays with Toronto, and others for Canada. But I'm curious how the Swiss will do. Qatar, I've been reading a ton of defensive struggles with them, and we'll see who comes out of Italy. I do want to mention before I go to Group C, Italy missed the last two World Cups. What's gone wrong for Italy, in your opinion?
And it's a different generation. They're trying to rebuild as well, but it's still a big nation of soccer. So hopefully for the Italians, they're going to get through the playoff and qualify for this group. But there's a lot of good contact with Wales and Northern Ireland as well. Could be two big country, and Bosnia as well. Never let them down. So I'm not sure who's going to go through out of this playoff. It's pretty much a lot of chances for all of them. But then you say Qatar, a different nation who has been getting better and better each World Cup. So they're going to come to this World Cup to try to go through out of group. And Switzerland, it's always a nation who is here strong, but same as well. They could be missing their this kind of World Cup, and Canada being at home with the fans. Hopefully they make it through the group.
Yeah, watching Switzerland, just some highlights and reading some pieces from their media. They do a terrific job controlling the midfield. So we'll see if that will factor in Group B. Let's finish off this first segment here with Group C and Group D. Going to the Brazil group, Seba, when I was highlighting Brazil, led by Carlo Ancelotti, his team really struggled in Commonwealth qualifying, really their worst mark in modern history. And then they contend with a Morocco team, and Morocco has displaced done a terrific job with their youth national teams. We saw how well Morocco did in the 2022 World Cup. And then you have Haiti, who's a creative team going forward as well. And then Scotland has this most senior side. Their average age right now is close to 30. For me, this is a stacked Group C. Who do you see prevailing at a Group C right now?
I mean, Haiti is going to be the smallest country, like in this group, kind of the hoping for them to do their best. But like you say, Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland, they are all going to be able to make it out of this group. It depends about where they are in 6 months and how they're feeling, how confident this group is. But it's a fun group to watch for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun game for all the Scottish out there. It's going to be fun group stage to be a part of, and be with them watching those games. Be fun.
And again, I can't say this enough as it relates to the Union. We are Union broadcasters after all, and doing this from our Union studios. Congrats to Haiti and Danley Jean-Jacques. Affectionately, we call him Danley here. First time Haiti qualifies for a World Cup since 1974. Congratulations to them. And we're going to magnify more of the U.S.'s group a little bit later on in our program. But in Group D, you have the U.S. I mentioned their unbeaten streak at 5 games. It's the longest streak against top 40 opponents since 2013. I mentioned the recent game against Paraguay, but then you have Australia, and I mentioned they play with a back three. I mentioned how well they do defensively, and then you have that playoff seed, Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo. If you're a U.S. fan, I'm sure we have a lot watching right now. Are you pleased with the way this draw shaped out?
Yeah, you will be very pleased. I think Pochettino must be very happy about it. It's not a very hard group. Like you say, Paraguay, we just beat them. Australia, it's not really like the best, soccer country. And then in a playoff of the European country is maybe the less strongest, playoff. So the U.S. for me should make it out of the group if we talk about now. But again, it's a World Cup, everything can happen. But we should very be pleased, and I think everybody should be happy about what draw the U.S. got, because it's easier than other groups for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Again, the first matchup for the U.S. will be against Paraguay in Group D. The first game of the entire World Cup will take place on June 11th. That will feature Mexico against South Africa. Okay, let's shift now to Groups E through H. E is spearheaded by Germany, had 72% of the possession for the 2014 champions. They also have Curacao with their double tens, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador as well. In Group F, you have the Netherlands, one of Europe's best attacking teams. Japan was prolific, Seba, with their goal scoring, 51 goals in qualifying for the Japanese. And then you have the winner of Playoff B out of the UEFA playoffs. That's Ukraine, Sweden. The winner of that game will take on Poland. and Albania. And then you have Tunisia with their 10 clean sheets through 10 qualifying matches with their back three as well to round out Group F. Further down in Group G, you have Belgium. Then you have Egypt as well, who was terrific in qualifying. Iran creates a ton. And then you have New Zealand as well, who relies heavily on Nottingham Forest forward Chris Wood. Although New Zealand, I was reading, 0-7-1 over the last 8 matches. A little bit more on that in a bit. Group H, you have Spain, a number 1 FIFA-ranked team on their unblemished 30-match unbeaten streak. Cape Verde, as Seba tells me that correct pronunciation. Right now, they have what I'm reading as one of the older teams at 30 years of age. Saudi Arabia as well under Hervé Renard in his second stint as manager, and Uruguay as well to round out Group H. So Seba, that's Groups E through H. Let's go back to E. What do you think of the Germans and how they've been and how they can fare here in Group E with Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador?
Yeah, I think it's not an easy group for them, just because Curacao, of course, smallest country to be in this World Cup, very tough for them, but they're going to play their hearts off for sure, especially if they play the first game against Germany. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do in their first game. But then you have Ivory Coast and Ecuador, who are two very good soccer nation. So I will not say that Germany is through for sure, because I think Ivory Coast and Ecuador can maybe do something and maybe put some difficulty for Germany in the group stage.
Yeah, Curacao, congratulations to them. One of 4 teams right now, the teams that have already gotten in and qualified for the World Cup next summer. Congrats to Curacao. Terrific, I mentioned, with their double tens, a lot on them. Were also very good as well in qualifying, and also Ecuador as well. Defense, I've been reading a ton of struggles by them, but looking forward to seeing them. Ivory Coast, by the way, Seb, had a plus 25 goal differential during qualifying, so I think there's going to be a lot of stouts scoring out of that group. Germany hasn't gotten to the quarterfinal round in the last 4 tournaments. I know we call it a friendly with Eintracht Frankfurt, so I'm curious to see how the Germans will do out of Group E. Over to Group F, Netherlands, one of Europe's best attacking teams, prolific wingers, also have a mid-block defensively. We'll see how they fare. Japan with the 51 goals I mentioned. And then you have out of this playoff B winner out of UEFA, Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, Albania. Do you see Poland getting through out of that playoff B?
It will be like the one I will choose, but it's, again, like all those teams are pretty much the same level. So, we all know the playoff. We see it every time here, in the MLS. It's just one game, so everything can happen, especially, I'm not sure if it's a neutral side, but I think, this Group F is definitely a question mark for me, because all of those teams, Netherlands, yes, should be, getting out, but like you said, never can out Japan out of it. Tunisia is one of the African nations, coming up as well, who has very good players. So it's going to be a tough group as well, this Group F for me.
And we have Tom and Mike behind the scenes, and I'm turning to Tom. And Tom, I don't know if those that are asking in the chat, but to me so far, and I don't know if Seba would agree, but we mentioned this off camera a little bit, Group C, that Brazil group. Group F, like Seba just alluded to, seems to be a little bit wide open, just in my opinion. I don't know if you see it the same.
No, it is. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I think, you're going to see, especially at the beginning, you have a Netherlands against Japan. So it's kind of like those 2 teams who are supposed to maybe go through from the beginning. But if, let's say, one team lose or even a tie, and then Tunisia maybe won their first game, it could be, very interesting to see like the tactical, aspect to see who is going to like take some risk to get a win, in the second game, and then at the end it's kind of like pretty much all in. So I'm definitely going to be watching these Group F games, because they are pretty much fun to watch for sure.
And I think it's a little bit of a different storyline. Group G, I mean, I like Belgium. I know, Egypt has looked good. I mentioned during the intro there, Iran creates a ton, second most through balls in qualifying in their region. New Zealand, I mentioned, struggled recently, but I look for Belgium to get out of that side, Seba. And, of course, FIFA number 1, Spain. For those that haven't watched Spain and what you know, unbeaten in 30 matches, number 1 ranking, why has Spain been so successful recently?
I mean, they play, very good soccer, like, very typical to their countries. They've been, let's say with the golden generation, with the Alba, the Busquets, and David Villa and all of those guys who came to play in MLS. But they kind of rebuilt, their team in, let's say, past couple of years. And now they have a lots of young, talent coming through and being very good. So it's going to be, yes, probably an easy group for Spain to get out of this. But it's always one of the biggest nations in soccer. So I think we can count on Spain to get out of this group.
I was looking at a number that a lot of Union staff look at, their PPDA, passes per defensive action, so how relentless they press, and that's at 9.76. So they are a pressing team under Spain's head coach Luis de la Fuente. Also a high possession team as well at 70% for La Roja. So looking forward to seeing. I know there's a lot of talk about the kid from Barcelona, Yamal, 6 goals and 23 caps with Spain. All right, let's get to groups I through L here, headlined by your France, which I'm sure we'll document in a moment. Terrific 2022 World Cup. Curious what Mbappe and company, if Ekiteke can get on that roster, the young Liverpool kid formerly played in Germany. Senegal recorded a 64.8 possession rate under their manager. They'll also get the winner of playoff 2 in that one. That's Bolivia and Suriname against Iraq. And also Norway, who topped UEFA in goals scored with 37, had 29 assists as well. That's in Group I. Argentina, victorious in 2022 World Cup on penalties over France. They headlined Group J with Algeria, who won 8 of 10 qualifying games. Austria, who's known for its press, highest number of tackles, the lowest PPDA, terrific pressing team. The first World Cup for Austria, by the way, in '98. Jordan in their first World Cup as well in their 3-back system to culminate Group J. Moving forward to Group K, as you see on your screen, Portugal. They'll take on the winner of Playoff 1, which could be Andre Blake in Jamaica. New Caledonia will take on Jamaica. That will be in March. The winner of that one will face the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And then you have Uzbekistan, who attacks really well from the wide areas, and Colombia, who is spearheaded by Luis Diaz. They are one of the best attacking teams in CONMEBOL under their head coach, Nestor Lorenzo. Also in Group L, you have England. There's a lot of storyline about England and Seb. I was reading a ton of articles from their media, their manager from Germany, Thomas Tuchel, saying they're more a possession team. They feel like they're the underdogs for England. I think they're a team that I believe can go really deep at this World Cup. You have Croatia that only dropped 2 points in qualifying as well. They dominate a ton of the ball. You have Ghana and also Panama as well under their manager, Christensen, who formerly played at Barcelona and led Leeds. So that's Groups I through L. Seba, let's go back to your France. Can they get back to a final?
I don't know if they get back to the final, but it's already a tough group for them. Maybe beside the playoff with Iraq, Bolivia, and Suriname, who are maybe the underdog team. The thing France, Senegal. We remember 2002 World Cup.
Yeah.
Senegal beat France in the first game as well. With a goal of Diouf. France didn't make it through the group stage because Denmark and Senegal went through. So it's going to be tough because Norway, leading by Erik Haaland, big top scorer, in Europe and in Man City, very good team, Norway. So it's it's
first World Cup for Norway in quite some time.
Yeah, so maybe we'll join Jacob Glesnes and Mr. Alejandro Bedoya's wife to watch this game. Right. It'd be fun. But no, it's a. I don't think France is automatically through. I think Senegal is a very good nation. A lot of French speaker. In Senegal, and very good team. So yeah, it's. First game again is going to tell a lot, between France and Senegal, who is going to win this game. But yeah, a little bit open. But France should go through. Now Senegal, Norway. Let's see who could be maybe the second one.
And that's what I was going to ask you: is who concerns you more, Senegal or Norway? Because I was looking up that Norway exceeded their expected goal totals, eclipsing 24.7 in qualifying. They have inverted wingers, a lot of take-ons from them, good combinations. What I've seen from the Norwegians.
They are good, but they're two different teams. So again, it's a World Cup. You don't know what's going to happen, and where they're going to play, what type of weather is going to be. I will not let Senegal or Norway saying that France are going to be better than them. It's it should be on paper, but both of them second way could go through as well. I'm not sure about Iraq, Bolivia, and Suriname, but we'll see.
Okay, in Group J, there's a lot of talk about Argentina. Leo Messi will be 39 at the tournament. You also have Almada, other players, Lautaro Martinez up top. Is Argentina a team that you feel at their age, kind of the running it back storyline, maybe injecting some youth? Do you feel like they go deep, or do you feel like it's a team that maybe round of 16, early stages of the knockout, get bounced out?
I don't know. I will not count them out, because you never know, especially when you have Messi in your team. But it's always hard to do a back-to-back. France almost did it, but Argentina, beat us at the last one.
Yeah.
But they're still a very talented group. So, but again, their group, it's not
it's a tough
hard.
one.
It's Algeria is very good. Australia is one of the European nations, with a lot of
First World
talent
Cup
as
since
well.
'98 for Australia.
Jordan, I don't know a lot about them. I will put them maybe under, but yeah, again, it's a first game for them. It's going to be against Algeria. So Argentina, Algeria, two, good team. Let's see, who wins this first one.
And look, I'm not deep into the breakdown yet tactically of Group J. I just see Argentina dominating a lot of the ball in Group J. Just what I see from Jordan, lowest average possession of any Asian qualifying team. Austria, first World Cup since '98. I keep mentioning highest number of tackles for them. Algeria, maybe more of the attacking out of the other two teams that I just mentioned. We'll see.
But I'm sure a lot of Argentinian fans will make the trip, to support their team, depending on, of course, where are going to be the game. If it's in Mexico or in Canada or in the US.
All right, and quickly in Groups K and L. Portugal, you see getting through in Group K?
Yeah, I feel it's maybe the easiest group for them, and Colombia. Then you have Congo, Jamaica, and New Caledonia, who might make the playoff, and Uzbekistan, who is the first World Cup for them. So as of now, I see Colombia, Portugal, but we can maybe be surprised if I would say Congo or Jamaica might be the two teams, but Congo is a team, question mark as well about if they can, maybe make it.
And Union fans watching, so that's the group to watch if Blake and Jamaica get to their first World Cup since '98. That is Group K. New Caledonia will take on Jamaica in Mexico. That playoff starts, which I'll get to kind of in a moment, March 26th through the 31st. So hopefully from our Union hats on, hopefully Dre can get there. And then Seba, to round out, I mentioned England from manager Southgate now to Tuchel, more of a possession-based team. A lot of the big names for England, I'm sure, will shine. They've been terrific getting to finals 2 of the last 3 tournaments. How do you say England? You do have Croatia only dropped 2 points during qualifying as well in that group.
Yeah, it's going to be not as easy for them as well. And say Croatia, a very good team. Always been in a World Cup. Ghana as well. Panama, we all know, with the support, and their good run there in the qualifier was going to be pumped to be back in a World Cup. But first game, Croatia, England. Again, it's like
that's awesome.
Can they start in a good manner and beat Croatia, or is going Croatia beat England, and then all the doubt and the criticism are going to come into the team of England? So yeah, it's old. I feel I like those first game because it's a lot of not easy game for the first pot team.
Yeah.
Like you have France, Senegal, you have England, Croatia, Netherlands, Japan, Brazil, Morocco. So all of those games are really fun, because then you can describe about where they're going to be mentally, and if they find the momentum to kind of get through the group.
Yeah, England won all 8 qualifying matches without conceding. I mentioned reaching 2 finals out of the last 3. Last one a World Cup in '66. I know the country is galvanized for this World Cup. Took 4th place in 2018. All right, I know we're running a little bit long. Might have a little bit longer than a 30-minute show here, but let's get to the playoffs. So we have 2 different playoffs. We have the UEFA playoffs where 4 teams advance, and then you have the Interconfederation playoff where 2 teams advance. Let's go through the UEFA playoffs first. For playoff A, that will go to Group B. And Seb and I hit on a few of these. So Italy will play Northern Ireland, and the winner of that game will face Wales, Bosnia, Herzegovina. You have Ukraine, Sweden in playoff B. The winner of that one will take on Poland, Albania. Albania has never been to a World Cup. The winner of that playoff will go to Group F, if you follow. This one, I can say succinctly, will go to the U.S. group. The winner of Turkey, Romania will take on Slovakia. Kosovo is looking to go to her first World Cup as a FIFA member. Slovakia last in the World Cup in 2010 in the round of 16, so we'll see. who will be in the U.S. group. And then finally, Seb, in the UEFA playoffs in D, that will go to the Mexico group. That's Group A. Denmark, North Macedonia tussles with the winner of Czechia and Republic of Ireland. Ireland, by the way, Seba, defeated Portugal and Hungary. Troy Parrott has been terrific for them. Last in the World Cup in 2002. I know we started the show talking about Ireland making the round of 16 back in 2002.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I have so many Irish friends, here in Philadelphia, so I'll definitely be watching the game with them, their first one against Czech Republic, and then if they win this one, it will be the winner of Denmark, Macedonia, which is another tough opponent.
Do you see any concern out of that UEFA playoff C for the U.S., Turkey, Romania, and the winner of that will take on Slovakia, Kosovo?
As of now, I have really no idea who will be the opener of the U.S. I think those four teams have a chance. Turkey maybe a little bit more from what they did, or Slovakia in the past couple of years, but again, it's just one game, so who knows?
Yeah, all of those nations haven't been in the World Cup in recent time. Turkey last in the World Cup in 2002. Romania made the round of 16 98. Slovakia in the round of 16 in 2010. All right, let's go to the Interconfederation playoff. This is the one that Jamaica, Andre Blake is in. North Caledonia faces Jamaica. Winner of that matchup will take on the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So the winner of that playoff one, it's called, will go to the Portugal group. That's Group K. Followed by playoff two, Bolivia, Suriname. That goes to the France group, Seba, that you focused on. That's Group I. And that will be, the winner of that one will take on Iraq, who last qualified for Iraq in 86. Can Jamaica and Blake get there?
It's going to be tough. First, New Caledonia, not easy on a one game, like you say, playing in Mexico. But then you have Congo, who has been, one of the big countries as well in Africa, very good team. So it's, as of now, I will probably say Congo, but we're going to be, number one fan of Andre and Jamaica. Yeah. Hopefully he can make it through.
So the recent games for Jamaica have been against Curacao and Trinidad and Tobago. They were both draws, so Jamaica unfortunately didn't qualify for that. Have to go through this Interconfederation playoff, and we'll see if Blake will get there. Again, if Jamaica does it, it'll be the first time they're at the World Cup since '98. Would be the second time they're at the World Cup. But hearing Dre in talks with the media, around the facility, I know how much it means to him. And I think, Seb, as you know, working with the team, legendary player and yourself, how much that would mean to Andre, not just for the to represent the Union badge internationally, but what it means to him in his native Jamaica, right?
Yeah, of course, it's huge. He's a captain of this team. If he can bring his country to a World Cup after '98 when he was a World Cup in France, it's such a big achievement. He's going to be remembered forever in his country. So yeah, I really hope for him they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, the Democratic of the Republic of the Congo finished a close second to Senegal in their group. So they got through to this playoff, winning in PKs over Nigeria. I just want to congratulate, before we go to our first quick plug here, Cape Verde, Curacao, Jordan, Uzbekistan, all going to the World Cup for the first time. So congratulations to those nations. All right, folks, the countdown to the FIFA World Cup 26 next summer is on, with a record 48 teams competing in 16 cities across Canada, Mexico, in the U.S. It will be the biggest FIFA World Cup in history. Get closer than ever to the beautiful game with an official hospitality package. Excuse me. All packages include extraordinary seats, entertainment, food, beverage, and much more. You can scan the QR code below to browse packages and purchase today. So, you can tell by my notes, a ton of information to get to. Seba, let's now take a look at the U.S. as we'll magnify their group with Paraguay, Australia, and playoff C out of the UEFA playoff: Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, Kosovo. If you're a Pochettino in the staff of the U.S. In the federation, what's going through your mind after the draw ceremony?
I'm very happy. I really think that as of now, if I'm Pochettino, I'm thinking that we can finish first of the group, which be a big thing to then on the next round to get a team maybe not as high, level. So yeah, I am thinking, really prepare Paraguay again like they did, a month ago. They just play here in Chester, beat them 2-1. So maybe not with their full squad as well. So yeah, I feel like between Paraguay, Australia, or whoever wins the playoff, between the Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo, it could be three wins for the US. It's possible. I think they have the level to do it. So if I'm Pochettino, I'm really thinking, okay, can we finish first? But first, we need to get ready, and get the best group. But there's for sure, I think, for all the American fans and even the players, like, all right, we are not, going to struggle or try to play our life. If it was a Morocco, like you were saying, or in a team, or Norway, coming into the group, it's a much easier way to qualify on the group than other team you could have.
I mean, what's cool watching the draw ceremony with you and Tom, Mike behind the scenes, we can kind of peel back the curtain. I'm sure a lot of you watching this were like, oh, hopefully the U.S. doesn't draw this team, doesn't draw that team. Of course, they can't draw the same team from their federation. So congratulations to the U.S. and we'll see how they'll fare. The host countries, Mexico and Canada, how they do. But the U.S. will start out on the West Coast, I believe, at SoFi Stadium, if I have that correct. We'll see how they fare. But their first matchup is against Paraguay. That was a matchup here November 15th. I know you were there when they won 2-1 behind goals, I believe, by Balogun and Reyna scored in that game. So another rematch that took place here in Chester.
Yeah, it was a good game. So Paraguay is a good team. So you can see a little bit of what Pochettino was doing with all the players he called up for that squad. Maybe not all of them will be at the World Cup, but you can see that they were focused on beating the Paraguay team. It was not an easy game, but you can see it was a lot of when I was there, a lot of Paraguayan fans as well.
Okay,
so
I love that.
They have a lot of follow up. So it's not going to be an easy first game for the US, but I think a great test to kind of see where they're at. And if they're able to get a win, it's going to be a great start for their team.
And Australia is always that wild card. They reached a round of 16 4 years ago. That was their best finish since 2006. I mentioned how they do defensively. And then, before we end the U.S. discussion, I want to ask you about some of our Union connections with that U.S. team. Former players we've seen recently on the squad: Austin Trusty, Mark McKenzie. I want to ask you about them. Matt Freese is the number one. Started, I believe, 13 consecutive matches between the sticks. I believe, in my opinion, Freese has to be the number one going in with the U.S. I know Nate Harriel has capped with the United States before the injury. Quinn Sullivan has gotten 3 caps as well. Former Union player now playing with Houston, Jack McGlynn. Brendan Aronson also in the mix too. So I say all that, Seba, to get to, do you see some Union representation? I think Matt Freese is a lock now, of course, with New York City. But do you see some Union representation with the U.S. at the World Cup, aside from Freese?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a big chance, especially like maybe the McKenzie, Trusty as a defender, Aronson, of course, with lead. But I think a lot of, them need to still, I think, have a good next 4 or 5 months with their club to show to Pochettino that they need to be a part of this squad. I think there's maybe a 10 spot in the squad right now open, for grab in the US. I think he has maybe like 15 players he's thinking about, bringing. But there's a lot of thing happening in those, 4 or 5 months before the World Cup arrives. So a lot of things can happen, and we'll see, what's next for them. But yeah, I think some Union player will be, in the U.S. team.
Yeah, look, we're hoping for some Union players. Tom, you got a question? We got Tom on the mic behind the scenes. Go ahead, Tom.
So we got Greg Deegan on Facebook. He's looking over the Group D for the U.S. He's predicting 1 win, 2 draws, and the U.S. gets out of the group.
Wow, 1 win, 2 draws. Okay. I wonder who he has the win against. I'm assuming playoff C. 2 draws. I don't know. I see the U.S. getting out of the group pretty unscathed, in my opinion. But I hear it. Greg, I appreciate the question.
I say 3 wins.
Or your input, I should say.
I mean, 2 wins, 1 draw.
2 wins, 1 draw.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I think they're gonna come out with a blazing start against Paraguay.
I hope so.
I really do, and I think, for me, for the U.S., you get those number 9s flourishing. We'll see how the midfield shapes up. We were talking a little bit off camera, like McKinney coming back, some guys off of injury. Will a right back, Freeman, be there as a right back? That for me, I think, with the United States. I know there's a lot on the goalkeeping situation. Will be it Freeze? Will be Turner? I think everybody could say now it should be Freeze at this point. But for me, I don't know if you agree, Seba, attacking wise, that's where I want to see how the U.S. shape up.
Yeah, I mean, we know Pulisic will be there.
Of course.
It's number one. But then after, who is going to be the number 9 is still a question for the team. But then I know defensively, I think if we have a good defense, like you said, good goalkeeper and a good center backs, hopefully Robinson, as a left back, probably Des as a right back, I'm guessing. But we can see a different type of shape. And there's a lot of players who are younger, who can maybe be the next person. But again, it's just going to be which form they are, at the moment, and if they can handle, this pressure, because there's going to be a lot of pressure on the U.S. team.
By the way, they got 4 games on the schedule. Speaking of the U.S. men's national team, next year before the World Cup, on March 28th, they'll take on Belgium in Atlanta. On the 31st of March, they'll collide with Portugal, also at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. They have 2 others. On May 31st, they'll play in Charlotte. They don't know who their opponent is yet. That will be the first match after the U.S. announces its roster. That will be on May 31st. And then, the send-off game, June 6th against Germany in Chicago. That's going to be a fun one in Chicago. You and I were calling the playoff game there. A lot of fans were there for rugby. It was packed along with our playoff game against Chicago Fire. I know that will be a terrific crowd on June 6th in that send-off game. All right. Before we get to the groups to watch to end the live stream here, I want to get to some other Union connections here, and let's go back to Danley in Haiti. So he would be, Seba, the second active player on a Union roster to be named to a World Cup roster. The second active Union player to be named to a World Cup roster. The other one, of course, was Olivier Baizo in 2022 with Cameroon. Now, Olivier did not appear in a game for Cameroon. We expect Danley to get there. Again, if you're just joining us in the live stream, Haiti qualifies for the first World Cup since '74. Now, Danley did not appear in that last game to get them through, unfortunately, due to yellow card suspension. But Haiti does a good job. I've been reading a lot, Seba, that they kind of sit back, absorb the pressure. They win a ton of recoveries in CONCACAF, I've been reading. So really pumped for Danley in Haiti. Seeing Danley at training before our Union season end, I know he was euphoric along with the team. So really looking forward to seeing how Danley and Haiti will do out of their group.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the Cinderella story, for them. Being in the tough group with Morocco, Brazil, and Scotland.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's going to be just all fun, for him. And, hopefully he's going to be in a team and playing and representing his country the best way.
Yeah, we mentioned Andre Blake in the 92 caps with Jamaica, so we'll see how they'll fare in their March playoff against New Caledonia. Hopefully Jamaica and Blake, from our Union standpoint, can get there for the first time since '98. We know how much that would mean to Dre, his family, as well. And then Makanya as well. Reading up on South Africa, they take a lot of players, Seba, from their domestic league and from their perennial champions. It's their first World Cup since 2010. We mentioned our manager, Bradley Carnell, started 3 games at left back in 2002 for South Africa. I know Hugo Bross has his team jumping. They only allowed just 5.8 shots per 90 in qualifying. For me, with the way that you've seen Owatu Makanya this year, I know they take a lot of players from their league in South Africa, but I know we're Union guys. But I'm hoping Makanya gets a chance.
Yeah, I'm sure his name is a part of the group over there, of which name, as a center defenders are going to pick. But again, he had a great first year. I think he was an unknown name, but now he's getting bigger and bigger for the South African team. So, yeah, it'll be a great surprise to see Makanya making the World Cup roster.
Yeah, they take a lot of players from one of their teams called the Sundowns. So they have a lot of cohesion, unlike some of the other teams around the world. Our man behind the scenes, Tom, the maestro, has questions. Go ahead, Tom.
A very familiar name, Jose Nunez, chiming in on
Jose.
this. When you look back at Group C, if you could pick a team for Danley to score a goal against, who would you hope it would be?
Great question. Go ahead, Seba. Group C.
I think the Brazil. It's always like the team as a kid. For Danley and for anybody who loves soccer. Brazil has been in every World Cup. It's the team everybody has been watching when you're a kid playing soccer and growing up. So there's so many fantastic players who came through this national team. So yeah, if I'm Danley, I will say probably Brazil will be like the goal you want to score against. But I don't think it matters for him. Whatever goal he can get and be scoring a goal for Haiti in the World Cup will be amazing.
I think he scores at the World Cup. I'm going to go out on a limb. If he pushes up the way that we've seen him in a Union kit like he and Jovan Lukic did as 2 number 6s, I think he can do it. I think, Jose, to your point, Group C, I think it's a really tough group. I think I outlined that with the Netherlands in the beginning part of our live stream here with Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland as well. I mentioned their experience. It is the first World Cup for Scotland since '98, but I'm curious, Jose and everyone, how Haiti will do there. I appreciate, Jose, the comment. Tom, do we have any more? How's the live stream doing?
I will say they are calling Group C the group of death.
Yeah,
looking at it.
That's the Seba. That's the. I mean, I think with a lot of the question marks with Brazil and how well I mentioned the youth teams have done for Morocco recently. I'm not surprised by that.
No, I mean, for sure. I mean, Haiti is definitely the underdog, against the Cinderella story. Nobody is going to bet on Haiti to make out of this group, but Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, I think they all have a chance to make it through. But there's also a group, to me, where it's not, quite sure who is going to make it out of it. So, Group C, yeah, I can it as a big group, but group of death, I don't know. There's also for me who is like Group B, Canada, if Italy qualify or even Wales, Qatar, Switzerland is kind of like not maybe as big of a name of a Brazil or Morocco or Scotland, but all of them have a chance to make it out.
I'll tell you, my travels just around the Philadelphia area and speaking with a lot of Italian fans, they are upset. They are irate that they missed the last 2 World Cups. They are hoping, Seba and all, that they can get through, but have to go through in a playoff as well. We appreciate the comments there. Have another little fun commercial for you. The countdown to the FIFA World Cup 26 next summer is on. Again, with a record 48 teams competing in 16 cities across Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. It would be the biggest FIFA World Cup in history. Get closer than ever to the beautiful game with an official hospitality package. All packages include great seats, entertainment. We love the food, beverage, and much more. You can scan the QR code below to browse packages and purchase today. Again, we appreciate everybody joining us in this live stream. I know we're going a little bit long here, but it is our World Cup after all here in the United States. Also, obviously, Mexico and Canada as well. Dave and Seba. We got Mike and Tom behind the scenes, Greg Fallon putting this together as well. We appreciate everybody behind the scenes and appreciate all of you tuning in as well. So, Seba, we're going to end our World Cup Draw live stream show with your groups to watch. And first, we go all the way back to Group B. That's that Canada group. Why did you circle that as one of those that you want to focus on?
Just because, Canada, host country, we hope, for them as well to make it through. They are going to be in front of their fans, but it's going to be tough. Switzerland, tough European country, then the playoff we just talked about, Italy, Wales, or Northern Ireland and Bosnia make it through. It's another tough opponent, whoever wins this playoff. And then you have Qatar, a team who is very tough to beat, who has been spending a lot of resources to get their national team better and better since the last World Cup. They're going to be tough to beat as well. So I'm watching this group because they're going to be all very exciting game to watch for Canada.
Yeah, Qatar. I'm just reading some of the notes here that I wrote down defensively in the third phase of qualifying. But they struggled mightily. 24 goals allowed in the final phase of qualifying. For me, going back to Canada, curious to see if Italy can get out. To your point, and then number 2, Switzerland. I think that's the team that maybe some folks might say is that the team to knock out to finish at the top of the group, I should say, in Group B. All right, so Seba, to round off the live stream, before we go to some final questions and some comments from Tom, you got France in Group I is that last group that you want to watch. Why are you focusing in on France, other than the obvious?
And just because, France have been one of the best countries in those World Cups the past two times in the final, but, they have tough opponents. Right away, Senegal, like I said, we have a type of rivalry between Senegal and France who are having, a lot of Senegal living in France, since it's a French colony, and a lot of talented players who play for a lot of French team as well. And then you have Norway, who is kind of like qualifying for this World Cup, have a very, very talented team. A lot of people were scared to have Norway in the US group, and of course he came to the French group. So it's going to be big game. After I think for the last place, again, it's I think 3 teams for 2 spots. I'm not sure about Iraq, Bolivia, or Suriname who ever qualify in this playoff. But as a French person, you are like, ooh, he looked like a tough opponent, because Senegal and Norway, we both, French people know how good those teams are. So I don't think we are like too happy about the draw.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a fun game to watch. So I'll be watching those.
And you said that France-Senegal matchup's a rematch in the 2002 World Cup.
Yes.
And Senegal won that.
1-0,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, that's a tough
With
one.
a goal of Diouf, and it was like the worst World Cup of France. So hopefully it's not going to be the worst World Cup of France next year.
Okay, Tom, what else do you have in the chat?
I was
there?
early on, on the YouTube stream. Dan was asking about that France-Senegal game. France has lost a group stage match in 3 of the last 4 tournaments. Wow. Obviously, the one they did lift the trophy. So really circling that France-Senegal match.
I know it's gonna be fun. So I will watch it with my Senegalese friend. It's gonna be fun. But it's great to see Senegal back, in a World Cup. And it's a tough first game. It's like I said, there's a lot of like the first game in this World Cup who are not the best team against maybe the worst team, to give the best team already 3 points. It's a lot of first game, like the Brazil Morocco, the maybe the Canada Italy, the France Senegal, England Croatia. You have like Argentina Algeria. I think it's all of those games are going to be very fun to watch, to open the group for each team, and it's not going to be easy. So Netherlands Japan, I forgot as well, in group F. It's another like group. I don't know who is going to come out of this one. So a lot of fun game. I just cannot wait now. I'm not going to touch about it, but tomorrow, where are all those games going to play, and which game is going to be in Philadelphia is going to be fun to know.
Yeah, France only allowed just 23 shots in 6 qualifying matches, so they've been playing very well. That other one, I'm just perusing all my groups here. You can see all the note taking here. Portugal, the winner of that Jamaica playoff 1. Uzbekistan as well has been playing really good. Excuse me. And Colombia, their manager Nestor Lorenzo has been playing really well. That Group K as well really stands out. I do want to ask you, because it's England in Group L. England, Croatia, we mentioned how well they done. A lot of the metrics that I read, key passes, crosses, they dominate the ball. Croatia. England's first game against Croatia, I know everybody will be focused on that one. You also have Ghana there that has been really, really good, even though their FIFA rankings right now at 72. Quarterfinalists in 2010. You have Jordan Ayew with 14 goals in qualifying there. And you have Panama as well. For me, England, Croatia as an opener, to me, just stands out as I'm kind of quickly going through all these in conclusion. As a big game.
Yeah, and it will be the last group, so the English fans have to wait for a little bit before their team go into the tournament. But yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one to make a statement as well for England if they want to do well in this World Cup. They need to do a good job against Croatia, which is one of the teams, like I say, in the past couple of World Cup, who always been there and have been doing well. So not easy for the English fans for sure.
Tom, anything else on the live stream? Go ahead. No, you're saying all good. So I appreciate everybody joining us in this venture on this live stream. This was so much fun watching the show with you, with Tom and Mike behind the scenes here at our Union Studios. Seba, before we end this, I'm not going to ask you for an outright winner, because I know it's tough right now, the expanded field of 48, but who do you see maybe as a sleeper, a dark horse, or a team that maybe a lot of folks aren't focused on, as like the Spains, Argentinas, the France, the Englands, but one maybe that can go deep into the knockout stage? Are there a couple teams that come to mind?
I mean, I'll put the US. The US
Do you?
team. Yeah, I feel the US could be like the people not really thinking about. I could see maybe Canada as well. Being at home, it's always different. You have like an extra support, but I know, of course, a lot of fans of every country are going to come and support their own country. But I feel like Canada, USA could be my one of them can go far just because of the group stage they have. Canada may be tougher than the US, but then the confidence, and when you have the momentum, you feel it. So it's going to be interesting. But after that, if I go Senegal could be, same African country, Ivory Coast, in a Germany group. There's always, an Asian country as well doing well. So, yeah, it's now being this World Cup with 48 countries the first time. It's even more people can go through. So it's tough to choose. But we're going to study. We're going to see what's happening in the next 5 months. And some team might lost maybe some of their best players due to injuries. Some might find a jewel coming out in the last next 4 or 5 months and doing very well for their club, and they're going to be coming to help their national team. So yeah, I'm just excited to now to know which game is going to happen in Philadelphia, as one want to know.
Right.
So hopefully I can go see maybe France if they're there. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, so to Sebastian's point right there, we actually don't know what teams are coming to Philadelphia just yet. That announcement event will start at 12 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and that's when we'll find out who's coming to Philly and the rest of the host cities. That will be 16 in total. So looking forward to that. Unfortunately, at the time of this live stream, we don't know who's coming to Philadelphia. We can tell you there will be 6 games coming to the link that will be called Philadelphia Stadium on July 4th of next summer. That will culminate with the round of 16. That's going to be a party in Philly celebrating the 250th anniversary, of course, of the country. You're going to have the PGA Championship, the MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia. Of course, that comes with the Home Run Derby, of course, the World Cup, a lot more. So we know not just Philly, but wherever you're from watching, but the surrounding areas, the suburbs, the tri-state region, I think really is going to be all hyped for the World Cup. I know you'll be involved somehow watching, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And Seb, I'm glad we got an opportunity to do this today. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was. I'm looking forward to, in 5 months what's going to happen, or 6 months now.
Yeah. All right, man. Great job by you. I want to thank our entire crew before we end this live stream. Tom, thank you for everything. Mike behind the scenes, Greg Fallon, and the rest of the Union staff making this possible. And then lastly, I want to appreciate all of you tuning into this, having us go through all our copious notes here. Seb, a great breakdown by you and all your analysis. And we appreciate you following us along. However, you tuned in today. We really do appreciate that. Before we end the show, stick around to the Philadelphia Union social media accounts, Facebook, X, PhiladelphiaUnion.com, Philadelphia Union's YouTube for all the latest news of the offseason surrounding the Philadelphia Union, because the new season, which will include CONCACAF Champions Cup action, will take place in February. Preseason going to start in January. I'm pumped up. I know it was sad to see the Union season end in MLS, but the next season is around the corner. So with that, appreciate everybody tuning in to our World Cup reaction show. For Sebastien Le Toux and our entire crew, I'm Dave Leno. Have a great holiday season, everybody, and a happy and healthy new year. And Seb and I will talk to you in 2026. Have a great one.